E.N.D here, day 3 for the spoilers of Zendikar Rising. Zendikar Rising, it's coming out to be a very good set. We have expeditions, we have box toppers, we have fetch lands, and we have also a brand new cycle of dual lands. Let's start our spoiler. Practice tactics. 1 white, choose target attacking or blocking creature. It is damage to that creature equal to number of creatures in your party. If you don't know how to play the party mechanic, I also did a tutorial video which is quite interesting. Check it out. See Gate Bannere. For 1 white, it's a 1/2. For 4 and 1 white creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Angel Heart Protector. 2 and 1 white, it's a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Caralhelm Cleric. For 1 and 1 blue, it's a 1/3. Whenever it blocks a creature, the creature doesn't untap during its controller next untap step. Cascade Seer. 3 and 1 white and 1 blue, it's a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you scry X, where X is the number of creatures in your party. Feed the Swarm. This is a very interesting card. Everyone is talking about this particular card. 1 and 1 black. It's a sorcery. Destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that parent converted mana cost. It's a 2-drop. Destroy target creature or enchantment. Very, very good card. Blood Beckoning. Kicker. 3. It is 1 black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If it was kicked, you return 2 cards. Highborn Vampire. 3 and 1 black, it's a 4/3 vanilla creature. Fisher Wizard. For 1 and 1 red, it's a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, you draw a card. Cleansing Wildfire. For 1 and 1 red, destroy target land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tapped, and you draw a card. Nissa's Zendikar. 3 and 1 green. Enchanted Land. Enchanted Land, it's a 4/4 elementary creature with reach and haste. It's still a land. When Enchanted Land dies, return that card to its owner hand. Joraga Visionary. 3 and 1 green. It's a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Gate Coloss. 7. It's a 7/5. Cost 1 less for each creature in your party. In theory, because your party can be a maximum of 4, this card can hit the battlefield with only 3. Sure-Footed Infiltrator. 3 and 1 blue. It's a 2/3. Tap another untapped rogue you control. It can be blocked this turn. Whenever a Sure-Footed Infiltrator deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Lullmage Dominion. X and 3 blue. The spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature whose controller has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Gain control of target creature with converted mana cost X. Mindcarver. For 1 black. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. A quick creature gets +1/+0. It gets +3/+1 instead as long as opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Equip 2 and 1 black. Goma Fada Vanguard. 1 and 1 red. It's a 2/2. When it attacks, target creature opponent controls with power less than or equal to the number of warriors you control can block this turn. Skyclave Geopete. This is the showcase. 2 and 1 red. It's a 3/1 with landfall. Trample with landfall. When a land enters the battlefield, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Songmed Ruins. This is one of those double-faced land cards. This is an uncommon. It enters the battlefield tapped if you choose the land, but if you choose the sorcery, Songmed Treachery. 3 and 2 red. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. These particular cards, you choose if you want to play it as a land or cast it as a sorcery, but once you play the card, you cannot transform it back. Vastwood Search. 3 and 1 green. Kicker. 4. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tab, then shuffle your library. If the spell was kicked, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Rolling Regrowth. 2 and 1 green. Sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. If you use these type of cards, where you sacrifice a land and you put 2 lands on the battlefield, that will trigger 2 times the landfall. Very, very good. Tangled Veil, another double-faced land card, enters the battlefield tapped and you add 1 green, but you can choose to cast it as an elemental creature. For 1 and 1 green, it's a 1/1, and you tap and you add 1 green. Rare cards. Archon of Emeria. 2 and 1 white, it's a 2/3 flying. Each player can cast more than 1 spell each turn. Non-basic lands your opponent controls enter the battlefield tapped. Coralhelm Chronicler. 2 and 1 blue, it's a 2/2. Whenever you cast a kicked spell, draw a card, then discard a card. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a card with a kicker ability from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Soul Shatter, 2 and 1 black. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the highest converted mana cost among creatures and planeswalkers they control. If you are playing a game with more than one opponent, all opponents will have to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. Rolling Vortex, 1 and 1 red, it's an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals 1 damage to them. So, if it's your upkeep, it deals 1 damage to them. If it's your opponent's upkeep, it deals 1 damage to them. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, it deals 5 damage to that player. For 1 red, your opponent can gain life this turn. This is a very good card, especially against white life gaining decks. Relic Robber, haste for 2 and 1 red, it has haste, 2, it's a 2/2. When Relic Robber deals combat damage to a player, the player creates a 0/1 colorless Goblin Constructor artifact creature. With this creature can block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you. Yalakul Exploration, 2 and 1 red, it's an enchantment, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled. At the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with Yalakul Exploration, put them in their owner's graveyard. Then Yalakul Exploration deals that much damage to each opponent. Basically, if you play a land, you will exile the top card of your library. You can play that card. If you don't play it at the beginning of your end step, it deals 1 damage to your opponent. If you can or you manage to play 2 lands during your turn, you will exile 2 cards from the top of your library. You can play them. If you don't play them, Yalakul Exploration will do 2 damage to your opponent. It's a very interesting enchantment. It's only a 3-drop. Inscription of Abundance, for 1 and 1 green, with kicker 2 and 1 green. You choose one, or if it's kicked, you choose any number instead. You put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures that player controls. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Yasharm Implacable Terranian, 2, 1 green and 1 white. It's a 4/4 legendary creature, can be a commander. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic forest or basic plains card, reveal them, put them into your hand. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-land permanents to cast spells or activate ability. It's a very, very good card. Zagra's Thief of Heartbeats, 4, 1 black and 1 red, is a 4/4 legendary creature, vampire rogue. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Your party can be minimum 0, maximum 4. Therefore, this card can hit the battlefield with only 1 black and 1 red. Has flying, death touch, or haste. Other creatures you control have death touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. It's a very strong card. Crawling Barrens. You tap for 1 colorless, 4, put 2+1/+1 counters on Crawling Barrens, then you may have it become a 0/0 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still a land. Emeria Shattered Skyclave. This is one of those double face cards. It is a land, this is a mythic, it is a land. As Emeria enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So, if you need a land, you can pay 3 life, and white can gain a lot of life, so they can spare life. You pay 3 life and it enters the battlefield untapped, or else it enters the battlefield tapped. You tap for 1 white. But on the other side, we have Emeria's Call. 4 and 3 white, it's a sorcery. You create 2 for 4 white angel warrior creature token with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. This is a mythic card. It's a very good card. You can use it as a land, or you can use the sorcery when you have enough mana to cast this particular card. Gate Stormcaller, 1 and 1 blue. It's a 2/1. Kicker 4 and 1 blue. This is also a mythic. When it enters the battlefield, copy the next instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost 2 or less you cast this turn when you cast it. So you play this card, and the next instant or sorcery that you will play with converted mana cost 2 or less will be copied thanks to Gate Stormcaller. If it is kicked, copy that spell twice instead. You may choose new target for the copies. It's a very good card. Everyone is already talking about this card. It's a very strong card. It's a mythic card, and I think this will be one of those mythic cards that can have quite good value in Zendikar Rising. Last card, and I think it's a very interesting card, Angel of Destiny. 3 and 2 white, it's a 2/6, flying, double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting life total, let's say you're playing a normal standard game that is 20 plus 15, that is 35, each player Angel of Destiny attacked this turn loses the game. It's a very good card, it's a very interesting card, and it's one of those cards that have a different win condition. Let's say you have Angel of Destiny in play, let's say you have more than 35 life, let's say you attack with Angel of Destiny, attack your opponent, you're playing a normal standard game that is 1-1, attack with Angel of Destiny. Angel of Destiny is blocked, deals combat damage, doesn't matter. If Angel of Destiny survive that attack and survive the beginning of your end step, you will win the game. Angel of Destiny does not need to do any damage to your opponent. Angel of Destiny needs only to attack your opponent. And if Angel of Destiny survive that particular combat phase, and at the beginning of your end step it's still alive, you will win the game automatically. If you're playing multiple player, you will attack a certain player, and same thing. If Angel of Destiny is still alive at the beginning of your end step and you have 15 more life than your starting life total, you will defeat that particular opponent and you will continue playing against the other opponent. It's a very good card. I think even standard this card can see some play, especially Commander. This will be a very good Commander card. This card will be a very good Commander card, especially in multiplayer, because you can defeat opponents only by attacking them. I hope you like this particular spoiler. I'm sure there will be more spoilers in the coming days. Stay tuned to my channel, subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting spoilers of Zendikar Rising and Magic the Gathering.